Thank you so much. I bring y'all greetings from the Capital Confederacy and from the Virginia Flaggers. I'm going to put my sunglasses on. I hope that it's pretty bright up here. There we go. I'm just really excited to be here today. And I had a request from a guest here today, and so I'm going to start by singing "Carry Me Back to Old Virginia." I get this request wherever I go, and I'm happy to share it with you, so y'all enjoy. This is one of the things that kind of got me started in this whole battle, was when those clowns down in Richmond kind of took our state song. So as far as I'm concerned, it's still our state song, and I hope y'all enjoy. Carry me back to old Virginia. There's where the cotton and the corn and taters grow. There's where the birds warble sweet in the springtime. There's where this old darkey's heart am long to go. There's where I labored so hard for old massa, day after day in the field of yellow corn. No place on earth do I love more sincerely than old Virginia, the state where I was born. Thank y'all. Walking these grounds here, I had a few minutes before the ceremony. I hope to have a few after. It's truly a spiritual experience for me. Over 3,000 men I just heard who died on the field of battle and in hospitals in the area. When I think about what they experienced, many of them old men, injured soldiers, boys, I am truly overwhelmed. I would be remiss if I did not take this opportunity to thank the Turner Ashby Camp for not only the invitation to attend and address this event, but for their tireless work to represent these men and to live the charge. Thank y'all very much. I appreciate it. And as mentioned, the ladies who for so many years, I feel like I'm just a blip in what the history that these ladies have done to have these monuments here, to have this service happen continuously. I'm so proud to be a daughter and to be here. And when I consider that I have just a small part in an event that's taken place for so many years, it humbles me. We live in perilous times today. I probably don't need to tell you that. In some locations, even across the South, these ceremonies are not only discouraged, but in some places forbidden. You cannot have this ceremony here. So for us to be here today is such a privilege and honor. And that is largely due to the efforts of those here today, and I thank you for that. Why are we gathered here today, folks? Why do we still honor these men almost 160 years after Lee surrendered? There's an incredible speech that the great Southern author and orator Douglas Southall Freeman gave on the occasion of the 50th anniversary of the dedication of the Confederate section of Oakwood Cemetery in Richmond. If you have never read it, I encourage you to take the time to look it up. It's lengthy. Those men knew how to talk, man. I'm telling you, I think about they were out there like in July in their wool suits, and he talks for about an hour. And y'all will probably be itching if I go over like 20 minutes. So they knew how to talk. Please look it up and read that. It's lengthy, but it's well worth the time. At the close, Freeman directs those in attendance to, quote, take our sermons from the stones as they walk through the cemetery. The Lord put that phrase, one of the most powerful lines in that speech, on my heart a few weeks ago when preparing my remarks for tonight. It is far too easy for us in the hustle and bustle of just living life and doing all that we can to fight back against the evil that surrounds us and is trying to wipe every face of our heritage from the face of the earth, to get so caught up in the work, even as good and as righteous and important as it is, that we can lose sight of why we continue to fight or even gather here tonight. My pastor just had a sermon on this 2 weeks ago, and I think maybe the Lord was like, pound, pound, pound. Good works, as good as they are and as important they are, when we let that become the center of what we're doing and forget why we're doing it, we're not going to get very far. And that has to do with our Christian walk, and it has to do with our heritage. These stones that we're gathered around here today, they help to remind us, if we will continue to visit and take our sermons from them. What do these stones say to us? We don't know unless we spend time here, solemnly and reverently reading their names, speaking them quietly aloud, and tending to the graves. What sermons can we take from these stones? What would these men say about us gathering here today? Why do we continue to do so in spite of everyone and everything working against us? First of all, I believe these stones tells us that these men were right. In this cemetery, and especially on the anniversary of his death, I can't help but think about the great Turner Ashby, who was one of hundreds of thousands who gave their lives for the cause of Southern independence. We have heard, especially in recent years, a lot of talk about the lost cause. I don't like that term, nor do I use it. Fighting to preserve the Constitution as it was written and to protect our home, hearth, and loved ones from invasion is never a lost cause. Our ancestors did not fight for a cause they thought was right. Have y'all ever heard that? And it's usually well-meaning people. They say, no, I think you should be allowed to honor your ancestor because they fought for what they thought was right. I don't buy it. They didn't fight for what they thought was right. They fought for what was right. It was right in 1776, it was right in 1861, and it is right today. Secondly, I believe we gather here today because it is our duty. Memorial Day ceremonies began, as most of you probably know, in the South. Daughters, wives, and mothers gathered to remember their sacred dead. They had one purpose, to make sure the Confederate soldier who gave all on the battlefield would never be forgotten. Many, many things have changed since that first ceremony shortly after the war between the states ended, but one thing has not: our duty and responsibility to continue the work they began. That's what I think is our duty. Their duty they gave, now it's our time to do our duty. We have walked through some very difficult times recently, haven't we? Haven't we? I know that it may appear bleak at times and can seem like we have little hope. Man, I don't know about y'all, but there was a point when I just almost didn't even want to wake up and look at the news in the morning to know what else they had done next, right? It gets bad. It's hard on us to see this every day, especially those who take it so personally and it means so much to us. However, folks, think about it for a minute. The worst that we're seeing, the worst that's happening, our grandfathers went into battle with even greater odds, indeed, often walking directly into cannon fire and did not flinch. What are our difficulties, even the worst that we have faced? And folks, I'm from Richmond, so I've seen the worst, compared to what they experienced. As my granddaddy used to say, this ain't nothing. This ain't nothing. I'll take just one of my ancestors, William Lewis Stone, 18 years old, from Mecklenburg County, Virginia, left and it was captured at the Battle of the Wilderness. Just trying to make this really brief. I know all of us could talk about our ancestors forever, but his name got mentioned tonight. So he goes off to war at 18, gets captured at the Wilderness, goes to Point Lookout, and then I don't know if it's luck or grace of God or whatever, then goes on to Elmira and survived, which to survive both of those is something else. And my family story is when he got back to Mecklenburg County, nobody recognized him. But when I think about that, and I think about all he went through, just one day in battle, one day, I mean, you just can't even really, our minds can't really comprehend what they dealt with. No food, rotten food, imprisoned. You just can't, our worst days are nothing. And then I think about what you and I face, which is sometimes a lot of backlash for what we do and what we do, and why we are here. But folks, it ain't nothing compared to what they went through. And I want to encourage you today. Do not lose hope, succumb to sorrow, or give in to anger in this time of cultural adversity. And that's a nice way to put it, cultural adversity, right? So easy for us to get so mad that we do dumb things, get so sad that we do dumb things, or to lose hope. Be ever mindful that what we are experiencing is not remotely compared to the afflictions our ancestors suffered. Hold fast to the resolve to tell the world their true story and expose the lies told about them for generations. Let your pride in them sustain your joy. Let that be the sermon you take from the stones today. I don't know about y'all, but I'm standing here in front of you, a child of the King and a direct descendant of 6 Confederate ancestors. How could that not bring me joy every day I wake up in the morning? I am not a Yankee. and I apologize if there's any Yankees here, but it's true. That in itself is enough that every morning, I'm a child of the King, thank you, Lord, and I am not a Yankee. That's enough to keep us going and to do what we need to do. We have survived nearly 160 years of Yankee occupation and Reconstruction, and we are still here and not going anywhere. Look around us tonight. With all of the lies and hate that are being spread about us and our ancestors, it only takes one person willing to stand on the truth and do their duty. And as long as we are willing to do our part, truth crushed to earth, as our president so eloquently reminded us, is truth still, and like a seed will rise again. Can we talk about some rising again that's been happening in Virginia lately? Is it not a great thing to be a Confederate in Virginia? When some cockamamie, I'm trying to use nice words, pinko commies, as my dad would call them, that's the best thing I can think of right now. Some snowflakes got a hold of the Shenandoah School Board a few years back when everything went crazy and convinced them that they should change the name of a couple of schools. Well, little did they know, the local people did not like that very much. Instead of just sitting back and saying, oh darn, and going on about their business, they organized. And for the next 4 years, they one by one took out every single one of those school board members and put members in that would do the right thing. And as y'all probably know, last month voted to rename the schools, and this week put the signs back up already. T-shirts are being made, signs are up, it is done. Folks, if that's not encouragement that we the people can't make a difference, we need to get in there. I'm not going to get too far into politics, but get involved and we can make a difference. If our ancestors could do what they did, this is nothing for us. And also these are just two things. You all probably know a lot more. This park that started out in Lexington is just amazing to me. We put up a big flag up there to start it off. Already got monuments going up there. We're going to probably be putting the Gordonsville Grays are working on a recreation, exact recreation of the Lee Monument from Richmond that's going to go in this park. Folks, it's up to us, and we can do this. So I'm going to encourage you, do not be discouraged, do not lose hope. There is always hope. If we have Jesus number one and the Confederate soldier number two in our mind, we're going to do okay. And finally, and perhaps most importantly, we continue to do our duty and advance our cause because, as I mentioned, we have God on our side and the blood of men who were part of the greatest army ever to take the field of battle flowing through our veins. What an inheritance. What a birthright. Y'all realize that half of the world wants to be Southern? As much as they still pick on us, that's why they hate us. They want to be us. They want to drive the General Lee and have a Daisy Duke Forward. Y'all know what they really want. They want to be like us. We have the best looking men, the best looking women. Y'all know it's true. But what a birthright. But with that birthright comes a responsibility. A responsibility to stand in the face of tyranny. A responsibility to gather, continue to speak truth, and teach our children and grandchildren the truth that they will not learn anywhere else. It used to be that our children and grandchildren would learn the truth at school. Not happening. You are the only one. And if you're not teaching your child the truth, they're not going to know it. But if just one of us teaches a generation, that truth stays alive. Never forget that. Teach the truth so they can carry it on. And some of these kids, they're going to get to be teenagers or older or preteens. They're going to start acting like they don't care and they didn't know and they didn't learn anything. But it's going to stick with them. Just like the Bible says, train up a child in the way he should go. He may stray a little bit, but deep down inside, he's going to know the truth. This is spiritual warfare, folks. And we, those of us gathered in this cemetery, and thousands more who are commemorating Confederate Memorial Day all across the South this month and last month, are the remnant. We are the remnant, folks. What are you going to do about that? What are you going to do about your birthright? What the world says about the Confederate soldier 100 years from now will depend on you and I. These men did their part, and I believe they would expect us to do the same. And I'm going to leave you with a part of that 50th anniversary address, and this is the part where it talks about the sermon from the stones. And I'm going to just encourage you all to take time today, not just today, but anytime you meet and gather, that it's not all about us. And I say that a lot. I say in a lot of these organizations, I am such a fan of Sons of Confederate Veterans, United Daughters of the Confederacy. All of these groups have such important work and we do great things. But sometimes we all have to step back and take a look at what we're doing and why we're doing it, and make sure that the focus always stays on the Confederate soldier. When we try to make it on anything else, God's not going to take that work and use it to his good like I believe he has for us. I could tell you so many stories of ways that God has moved since 2011 when we formed the Virginia Flaggers. And I'm telling you folks, I didn't know anybody in the UDC or FCB. I didn't even own a flag. I had to go buy a flag when I started flagging. But God took my desire to fight back from what was happening and my intention to make him first and then everything else fall behind, and he has used it to do great works that I still can't believe have actually happened. I'm encouraging you, don't give up, don't give in. Keep Christ first, Confederate soldiers second, and everything's going to fall into place. This is how Douglas Southall Freeman ended his address that day on the 50th anniversary of Oakwood. Let us then, grateful to the association whose 50th anniversary of love we observe, not leave this sacred place in haste. Let us not think our duty done when flowers cover every grave and prayers are said to every avenue. Let us rather slowly wander through this grove and muse and meditate and take our sermons from the stones, that when our call to arms may come, we of the South shall show the spirit of our sires and draw again the sword of Lee in all the might of his ideals. We invoke you, spirits of heroes and martyrs. We bless you, shades of immortal valor. We pledge you, mighty company of invisible witnesses. This breeze, I can just feel them here with us right now. That the cause for which you fought shall never perish, and that the vision you caught in cannon's mouth and battle smoke shall yet in greater glory be fulfilled. Thank you again for the honor of the invitation to join you today. God bless each and every one of you, and God save the South. Woo!
There's not much left of them. So these are wildflowers that was picked down near Stanton today, I think. So God bless Susan Lee. I'll tell you that. I'm not gonna drink the cold water in the desert every time I